we join Stuart Haas Racing to discuss some of the wilder aspects of NASCAR. Door banging, wrecking, rivalries and racing on the edge. As the NASCAR Cup Series celebrates its 75th anniversary, it's the kind of entertainment that keeps it the #1 motorsport in the USA.
What built this sport is the blue-collar racer. That he worked his day job, which goes all the way down to NASCAR's grassroots. The biggest reason why NASCAR has had such a following and continues to be #1 is because a guy that works at your local Napa, that races at your local racetrack, if he wins a lot, he can keep climbing that ladder.
I think the fans get what they've always got with NASCAR. We're put on some great races, running wheel to wheel, fender to fender, rubbing side by side and competing at a very high level. And that's what our sport delivers week in and week out every single year.
Almost anything goes in NASCAR and tensions can run high. Incidents happen and retaliation is commonplace, but there is a fine line.
Hard at the wall goes Hamlin, takes down Chase Elliott. That was a savage crash right at the start-finish line.
NASCAR handed 2020 champion Chase Elliott a one-race suspension for that dangerous retaliation at Charlotte this year. While last season, Bubba Wallace became the first driver to be suspended since 2015 for wrecking Kyle Larson at high speed on the straight at Las Vegas. It was simply too dangerous and crossed the line.
I think it's kind of a quiet line where, you know what you could do, but you just don't do it. And Bubba, for example, right rearing a guy in the middle of the straightaway at 190 miles an hour is probably not the best thing to do. But if Bubba would have went down there and punched him in the mouth after, that's fair game. But you don't want to wreck a guy going 190 miles an hour.
You have to stand up for yourself. You don't want to get pushed around, but you also want to do it in a way that is not going to put them in danger. If somebody runs into you in the middle of the corner and spins you out, and 100 laps later you get back to them and you run into them and spin them out, okay, NASCAR sees that as boys have at it. But if somebody nudges you and you barely brush the wall and then you chase them down the racetrack, turn them head on into the wall on the straightaway going 180 miles an hour, NASCAR views that as a dangerous act.
On the other hand, NASCAR doesn't want to discourage racing, and high-risk moves can go wrong. At last year's Bristol Dirt Race, Chase Briscoe's slide job on Tyler Reddick cost both of them.
Catching Tyler on the very last lap, the last corner, that was my one attempt that I had to pass him. And the fact that the guy that I got into was a fellow dirt racer, he understood where the move was coming from. Literally the first thing he said when I got to him was, man, I would have tried the same thing. So if it wasn't a dirt guy that happened to, I feel like I probably would have had a black eye after it. But with a dirt guy, they kind of understood the mentality behind the move. They understood there was no ill will behind it. They've been in the same situation on the other side.
The playoff starting brings added pressure and desperate moves. Last year at Martinsville, Ross Chastain deliberately rode the wall to make up places and qualify through to the next round in a video game move that was spectacular, not to be encouraged.
I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
I do think that was an anomaly, and it certainly was amazing. But at the same time, we as racers need protection from ourselves. I mean, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win. Sometimes that might put myself in harm's way, and that's just the way we're wired.
I do not think that wall riding should be encouraged. It was really cool that he had the nerve to pull that off, but thinking that would be the norm is a scary thought.
I thought the first time seeing it, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It took bravery, it took all these things, but I don't think it's something that we need to be doing every week. I think you got to protect us from ourselves, because you don't want to be coming to the checker flag and you have the front 10 guys just all wall riding. When Ross did it, I thought it was awesome. I'd seen it done on video games, but yeah, never had seen it obviously in real life. So yeah, kudos to him for trying it, but yeah, hopefully we don't see it anymore.